The pact has been sealed. Thragg, Mark, and Nolan have agreed that the Viltrumites will stay on Earth. The Regent promises not to interfere in any human affairs. Nolan and Mark will not see the Viltrumites again, and Thragg finds it ironic that these two have become the saviors of his people. Invincible still feels a bit of regret, but it is already too late. Thragg says goodbye and returns to his people. At that moment, Tech Jacket arrives, ready for war, but the war is already over. Tech Jacket is relieved. He will not have to fight super-powered aliens. Unfortunately, the Graysons leave him behind, alone. Back at Debbie's house, she is arguing with Paul on the phone. Debbie wants Paul to come pick up his things. It looks like the relationship ended very badly. Mark's mom does not want to see Paul's belongings because they bring both good and bad memories, and she threatens Paul that if he does not come get his things, she will throw them in the trash. Debbie hangs up the phone, saying it is over, and suddenly someone asks, "Who was that?" Invincible and Nolan step into the room. Debbie throws herself into her son's arms. She thought he was dead. 10 months have passed since he left, and in that instant, Debbie thinks about her other son. Where is Oliver? Nolan brings her up to date. Oliver was injured, but he stayed on Taliscria, where they have the best doctors. Nolan asks again who Paul is, but Debbie ignores him and talks to Mark. She tells him he should go check on Samantha because she is not doing well. Invincible is worried about Samantha, so he flies off at full speed. Nolan and Debbie are left behind. Nolan is a little sad that Debbie already found another man. Debbie thinks it makes sense for him to be upset. She knows Nolan was with an alien. Omni-Man replies that he is not upset, just disappointed. Their discussion is interrupted by Cecil. The Pentagon detected an entry into the atmosphere and thought it was Mark arriving. Then Cecil saw Omni-Man and immediately started shooting. He forgot that Mark had told Cecil that Nolan had reformed. Nolan greets Cecil, and the Pentagon leader asks if the war is already over. With Samantha, Mark enters through the window and tells her the war is over too. He is back now, and things are going to return to normal. But for some strange reason, Samantha does not want Mark to get close. She has changed a lot since he left, and she does not want him to see her. Invincible hugs Samantha, telling her he loves her, that he has been waiting to see her. Then she starts crying in his arms. She truly missed him. She thought he was dead. That night at the Pentagon, Cecil, looking a bit sad, enters Dr. Sinclair's lab. He has come to inform him they will not need anything Sinclair prepared. The war is over. For the last 10 months, Sinclair has been working non-stop and managed to build Reanimen out of the bodies of the Invincibles, but now none of it will be useful. Tech Jacket returns home and asks about his parents. They tell him his mother is at work and his father should be at the space station. He has been there for months waiting for him to come back. So Tech Jacket flies to the station and meets his father. After so long, father and son are shocked because both of them grew beards. Back with Mark and Samantha, she tells him everything that happened. Samantha kept the business running with Bulletproof helping her. It was hard work. She has her powers back. Mark asks if she is still living in this house. She says she has enough money to buy her own place, but without Mark on Earth, she had no motivation. Invincible apologizes. He has suffered a lot too. He was away from Earth for 10 months, and for him, it was difficult. He lost track of time. He cannot imagine how difficult it was for Samantha. And for most of those 10 months, Invincible was in a coma, so Samantha probably suffered even more. Mark asks how she managed. She repeats that she thought Mark was dead. She thought she would never see him again. All she wants to do is hold him and keep him close. At the Grayson home, Omni-Man and Debbie talk. Debbie confesses that after a while, things with Paul started going wrong. It's not that she believed what Omni-Man said, but Omni-Man thinks that after seeing him again, she simply could not be with another man. Nolan tells Debbie he wishes he had a way to express. Debbie starts to hesitate, but she will not forgive him. She will not forget what he said. Omni-Man holds her by the shoulders. He knows he can never undo what he did, and he understands. All he can say is that he was wrong. He was lost. He had too many conflicting thoughts, thousands of beliefs he had to overcome. Even so, Debbie starts to cry. She doesn't have to understand anything. Nolan ruined her life. What Debbie wants most is for everything to go back to how it was. Nolan tells her it will never be the same because he will never lie to her again. At William and Rick's apartment, Rick leaves for work, and William says goodbye, telling him he loves him. Samantha finally understands many things about the relationship William had, but the topic they wanted to discuss today was Invincible's return. Samantha realizes Mark has been back for only a few hours, and she is sure he will come here soon. William asks if Samantha has told Invincible the truth, but she doesn't know how. Invincible is flying above the skies, trying to clear his mind for a moment. He killed Conquest, destroyed Viltrum, ended the Viltrumite Empire, but now they're on Earth. The war ended, yes, but they did not win. And on Taliskria, Grand Allen receives an electronic tablet marked as urgent. When someone starts reading it, they discover it's a message from Thaedus, his last will. The message would only reach Allen if Thaedus was dead. Thaedus wrote that if he died, the war most likely went badly. He wanted to let someone know he had a weapon he kept secret. Thaedus tells him about the secret passage. The old man regrets hiding this weapon, but this option should be used only as a last resort. Thaedus leaves his sin to Allen as an inheritance, the virus. It's like the virus that decimated the Viltrumite population, but this is a perfected strain, far stronger. There is no way it can fail. Thaedus wanted Allen to use it if there was no hope of winning the war, ignoring his bonds with the allied Viltrumites, because it would be for the good of the universe, so the coalition of planets and everyone could live in peace. Every single Viltrumite would need to die. Thaedus' final message is a request. Whatever he does, he must make sure Thaedus' death was not in vain. Invincible goes to visit Art. For a moment, the tailor is happy that Mark has returned to Earth. Art also heard that Nolan is on the planet. Invincible tells him yes, and most likely Nolan will come by later. But Mark thinks Art should avoid Nolan because Mark's father cannot be seen. People are still afraid of him. However, that is not the reason Invincible came today. Art gets worried and asks what is going on. Mark tells him he knows Art is creative and likes to improve things, but he does not want to offend him. This suit is not working. That is why Invincible returns to his original suit and happily goes back home. Later, he goes to visit Samantha and finds her trying on her old suit, checking if it still fits. Samantha asks Invincible if that suit makes her look like she has a big butt. Mark says it makes her look amazing. He also tells her he is in no rush for Samantha to lose weight. He likes her the way she is. Samantha changes the subject and asks Mark what happened to his suit. He decided to go back to his original costume because he likes it much more. Suddenly, the company phone rings. Debbie calls. Invincible has to go fight someone, and he does. All day, villain after villain, he takes them down one by one. He loves being back. That night at the Graysons' house, Debbie and Samantha have gotten together to talk. Debbie starts telling embarrassing stories about Invincible, and the two of them are having a great time. Mark arrives and asks what is going on. Samantha tells him she is talking with his mother. Since Invincible was handling the bank situation, she had no plans, so she came to see her. Mark asks if Samantha is friends with his mom. Debbie thinks that is normal. What would be weird is if they were enemies. Invincible does not want them to be enemies, but them hanging out when he is not around feels strange to him. Debbie starts getting angry. She does not like her son's attitude. Samantha explains that while he was gone, they had a lot of time to bond. Debbie insists it is not strange. She is the friend of his girlfriend. Neither of them has many friends, so they became very close. Since this argument is going nowhere, Mark asks where his dad is. Then we return to the Pentagon. Cecil and Nolan are walking, and every person they pass is terrified when they see Omni-Man. Nolan realizes he cannot stay in this place. Cecil agrees with him. Meanwhile, in Stronghold Prison, the young man who transforms into a dinosaur has been captured. He is tied up and cannot move. He knows they have to keep him here so he does not destroy things, but all he asks for is a television. Being here is boring, and the crimes were committed by Dinosaurus. It doesn't seem fair to him. Suddenly, the young man starts feeling strange, and he discovers what triggers his transformation. The reptile inside him emerges. In the afternoon, Mark and Samantha go to Immortal's house. house. Samantha doesn't have many friends and was surprised when Duplicate invited them both over. When they arrived, they are greeted by Immortal and Kate, who now live in a suburban house. Duplicate tells Samantha she looks great, and as the couple walks in, they discover Immortal and Kate now have 2 children, Abraham and Mark. The real reason they invited Mark and Samantha was to introduce them to the kids. Invincible thinks they are adorable. Samantha stays quiet. Mark asks if something is wrong, and she says she is fine. Immortal prepared dinner. His kids eat early, so everyone sits down at the table. During dinner, Duplicate explained what pregnancy was like. She was terrified, but in the end, it was only slightly more painful than being cut in half. Immortal says that does not sound too bad. As the night goes on, Mark tells Immortal what happened in the Viltrumite War. After that, Kate tells the story about how Samantha's father once thought they were lesbians, pulled them aside, and told him he was proud because boys are terrible. The last story of the night is Immortal's. He talks about John Wilkes Booth, the assassin of Abraham Lincoln, meaning Immortal's assassin. Immortal felt bad for him because he didn't really want to kill him, and even though he shot him, he was not dead, that he was still punished for the crime. Later, Kate is bathing the kids. She has seen Mark and Samantha's relationship and thinks they are doing great. Invincible is clearly in love with Samantha, and Samantha knows it, but she can never be 100% sure. She still has doubts. Kate, for her part, has managed to get Immortal to do everything she wanted. He retired, married her, bought a huge house, and gave her kids. Kate finds it curious that Immortal and Mark are talking outside now. A while ago, they hated each other, and she thinks they should do this more often. While Kate talks and Samantha holds the baby, Samantha starts crying. Kate asks if she is okay, and Samantha says no, she just wants to leave. She hands the baby to Duplicate and leaves the bathroom. Moments later, Mark finds her outside the house. He was worried. Kate told him she was crying. Invincible thinks something is bothering her. Samantha tries to say everything is fine, but she can't hold it in. The tears return. Mark is terrified now. He thinks maybe Duplicate said something, but it's not that. It's time for Samantha to tell the truth. While Invincible was gone those 10 months, she had an abortion. Mark is stunned. He does not know how to react. Samantha says she regrets it deeply. Invincible only found out she was pregnant after it was already too late. She explains how she got pregnant before he left. She felt very alone, and she was not ready for that, especially with Invincible off the planet. So she made a decision. Now she does not know if it was the right decision, and she does not know if Mark could stay with her after learning this. Invincible starts crying too. He hugs Samantha and says he is so sorry for everything that happened, but he loves her, and he loves her so much. While they hold each other outside, inside the house, Kate thinks they are having relationship problems. She gives them a week at most. She thinks Samantha can't keep a man happy. She is too complicated. Finally, outside in the darkness, Mark and Samantha stand there, looking at each other. And that's about where Season 4 ends comic-wise. Not exactly beat for beat, but we're right around the end point. If you missed any parts, you can watch the previous episodes. I've linked the full episode list in the description and the pinned comment. If you enjoyed the breakdown, like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below. Your support really helps.